Hi everyone, it's Mel from My Paper Oasis. I'm back again tonight to demonstrate how to make some beautiful little 3D flowers. So this started because I am part of a couple of design teams. I'm part of the Casing the Caddy Challenge and I'm also part of the Colour Inspiration design team, but we had to, at the Casing the Caddy Challenge the other day, show what our favourite big shot project has been out of the Occasions catalogue. And I absolutely love the window box die. So I created this for that challenge, and I've had loads of interest about these beautiful little flowers that I have made on the top here, these 3D flowers. So I've had lots of people asking me how exactly do I create those. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a demonstration tonight on how to make these pretty little flowers. So to make these flowers, there's a few things that you are going to need. So the first thing is you are going to need a bone folder. So this is my team bone folder, very special bone folder for me. But you need something like this because you need to be able to work the cardstock to make it a little bit looser and manageable to play with. The other thing, of course, you'll need is your flower shop stamp set is what I use to create these flowers. So the stamp set and the matching pansy punch are what you'll need for this project. Now, I first created one of these flowers a long time ago. When I first joined Stampin' Up, I wanted a card holder for my business cards. So I created this flower using a different stamp set. I think it was, what was it, Vintage Friends or something like that. I can't remember what it is now. But this was a 6-point flower, and I saw how to do this on Pinterest. There was like a picture tutorial kind of thing. So I had a bit of a play and created this one absolutely years ago. So when I had the box, I wanted to make another. I thought, oh, this will look pretty on top. Wanted to make another one. This one was a 6-point flower though. So you'll notice that our pansy punch, our flower shop set with the pansy punch is actually only 5 petals. So I had to adjust it slightly to create these ones as well. Okay, so lots of people have a love-hate relationship with our flower shop set as well, and that's to do with the punch. So as you can see, the petals are all kinds of different shapes. So I just want to show you a very quick trick with this one. The idea of punching, sometimes you put your stamp on your block, and then you don't know where it's supposed to go, or you stamp it down, and then when you go to punch it, you can't get it to line up properly. So one of the tricks to do this is when you've figured out the way your stamp sits for the best punching, so you can stamp it straight down, you put a mark on the stamp set so that you know if you stamp that down this way, that's the top of the punch, and then you can just punch the image straight out. So one of the easiest ways to find that out is to grab your stamp, and you can kind of line it up underneath the punch here. So you'd rotate it around until you think you've got it right. So, you might think that that's kind of the right shape. So then what you would do is just put a little mark here, stamp the image to make sure that that's the right way, line up your punch, and then if that is the right spot, then put a nice big mark here so that you know that's the top of the stamp when you stamp it, so that the punch will fit perfectly. Otherwise, you're forever rotating this punch to try and make that stamp fit. So that's just one of the tips for that stamp set for you. Okay, so what you're going to need for this is you're going to need 5 shapes of this petal, of this flower, I should say. So you're going to punch out 5 of the entire pansy, and then one of them you need to trim 1 single petal off, and you're going to keep this 4-piece, okay? Actually, so you only need 4. So you're going to trim this 4-piece off. You need another one that you're only going to take 2 petals off. You have a complete whole one, and you also need another complete whole one that you put a cut in. So you trim it down to the middle spot here because we need to fold these ones to glue them. So that's what you're going to need, and I'll put this up on my blog post when I upload my video to YouTube, so it's all there for you to see. Okay, so let's get making these tiny little things. I'm going to put this to this side because I have all my flowers here. So here we go. Dun, dun, dun. So as you can see, this, oh, get this one. This little piece is actually from this bit in here. So we need to keep all of that. The only bit you're going to lose is when you have another pansy shape here, you're going to remove 3 of the petals. The other very important tool that you need is some of the multi-purpose liquid glue. Don't look at how grotty that is. That's because I get it all over my fingers. And a toothpick. A toothpick is essential to creating these flowers, or something similar, very thin, very small, very round. So you start by distressing your cardstock a bit, and so that's by rubbing the bone folder over this. It just makes it more pliable and easier to work with. Now you do want to be careful. You don't want to do it too much or you will split your cardstock. So you don't want to do that for the purposes of this flower. Now the other thing you want to do is make sure when you're rolling it that you roll the colours to the outside. So you want the colours on the outside of your pieces that you're working with. So for this one, you're just going to grab your toothpick, lay it flat. I find this the easiest way to do it is lay it flat, pinch the corner of your petal there so that it's slightly rolled over the toothpick and roll it. Okay, and I roll it backwards and forwards. I'm going to shake the table, I apologise, so that you can get a good fold on this. And then you're going to adhere it down. So you can see I've worked that cardstock a little bit. It does have a little split in it, but that's okay for this one. So that's the very first part of your flower, the very first inside petal. And of course this is Tombow, so it's going to stick to me like glue. Haha, very funny. So I'm just going to grab a baby wipe, so give me a second. Okay, so then you're going to take your 2-piece one and you're going to work this a bit. And I like to fold my little petal bits over. Now this is probably the trickiest one that you're going to do because it's a tight kind of fold that you're wanting to create with this. So just give them, you know, a gentle work. But what you need to do with this one is you need to kind of fold it up. And if you can, let me roll this one a bit. These are a little bit fiddly, you might be able to tell. I don't want to roll this one too much, but I just want to roll it enough that I can. Actually, this one I want to roll to the inside. I want the colour inside a bit, just so that I can glue it a little bit. Oh, sorry, I hope I wasn't working off camera then, guys. I'm trying to see around the camera, so in that I've looked the other way. So you're wanting to form this little funnel. So you just need to work the cardstock a bit to make it a bit more softer so that you can do that. Okay, so you can see how that piece is going there. And you can see I've got a tiny little overlap at the back. So that's the bit I need to glue. Now you can do this, you know, with a hot glue gun, but I find hot glue guns are pretty terribly messy. I wouldn't use the hot glue gun until I get to the last piece of this flower. So you can see you've created a little bit of a tunnel there. And you can fiddle around with that, you know, to make it a bit more pliable. You can roll your edges a bit more depending on how you want it to look. And you just kind of need to pinch it until it dries. So this is going to be the slowest part of this video. Like I said, hot glue guns will work a lot quicker, obviously. But they also are quite clumpy. So you only kind of want little bits of glue or you're not going to be able to get this flower to do what you want it to do. And I've stamped this one in Calypso Coral, so it's a bit brighter. So you can kind of see a little bit more what I'm doing. Okay, then what you're going to do is drop a glob of glue down inside, and you're going to stick this middle piece right in there like that. See? Very simple. So the idea is then that you just keep building up your flower in a similar kind of fashion. So for the next one, I'm going to set that one down. We're going to use this 4-piece one, and we're going to make it a bit softer, fiddle around with it a bit. And you can always, you know, fiddle and make your petals fold and do what you need to a bit later, but like once you've softened that cardstock a bit. So I always kind of like to have them flick out a little bit. But this one, all we're going to do is we're actually going to fold it right over. So we want a 3-petal, basically, 3 petals. So this one's quite much easier for you to get a good adhering on. So we're just going to glue this one so that it sits like this. So you've got your 3 petals. And because that's got such a big area to work with, it's kind of gluing a lot faster. A bit of glue in the middle again, and you're going to sit this piece in the middle there. So this is at the point where sometimes, you know, you might need a little bit more patience with your glue drying, and it's going to be a little bit tricky on here tonight because I do kind of hold them for a little bit and, you know, fiddle around with the petals. So this is part of it working now, and I'm just going to pop that down to the side to let that one dry. So the 4th piece that you need is your whole petal or your whole flower, and you're just going to trim right up into the middle. You're going to work this one again. I'm going to work it so that it's folding up and around these petals again. And you're going to fold it over so that you have the 4 petals this time, okay? And again, I like to kind of move my petals so that they fold out for this one. So again, it's going to be a little bit easier to glue because you've got a whole petal that you're gluing. And we've just had to work with this one a little bit more because it's not a 6-point petal stamp, that's all. So we're just kind of building up the layers as you would kind of in a normal flower. Okay, bit of glue, bit bigger glue here for this one, and you're going to pop this piece in as well. Now at this point you possibly could start using you know, your hot glue gun. Make sure when you're organizing your flower, what you're trying to do is have the petals offset as well. So you don't want to sit it like this where all your petals are going to be lining up. You actually want to offset as many as you possibly can. So you can see the flower's really starting to take shape now. And that is going to definitely take a bit to dry. It's going to wobble. Yes, it is. And you just sit and fiddle with it, you know, until you're happy with the result. And of course, if you don't want it quite as big, you just use less petals. So this one at the side, I only did the first 3 rounds so that I could tuck it in at the side. Your last petal, however, is the full petal, and all you're going to do is work this cardstock a bit so you can manipulate it. So what I try to do is push my thumb in the middle and flick my petals kind of up and out so that it encloses around the other flower a little bit more. Give it a bit of a squish around so it pops up on an angle. And I will use Tombow here, but this is definitely the one that I would use the hot glue gun for. You're not going to get a really good join otherwise, especially if you're going to be, you know, using it quite a bit. And you stick it on, and there's your flower. Whoops, see, he's not quite dry because it's Tombow. But that's pretty much how you make your gorgeous little flowers. So they can be a little bit fiddly, but they're not, you know, they're not too bad. Once you've made a few, you actually get a knack for it really, really quickly. And it's just a matter of, you know, sitting there, doing a few punches, and then, yeah, see, that last piece is not going to sit. It really needs the hot glue gun. But that's how you create those beautiful flowers that you see here. And you just keep fiddling around with the petals until you're really happy with how they look. So, terribly sorry about that little one. That's what you need. Okay, so they're the kinds of bits that you're going to need to make these flowers. So lots of fun. You can stamp them in any colour. It's a great way to use our stamp sets, a great way to put 3D images on cards and paper projects. I've got them on photo frames, all those kinds of different things, just to really add a little bit more dimension and depth to whatever you are creating. It makes a huge difference and gives it a lovely wow factor. So I hope you enjoyed that tonight, everyone. I'm glad to be back. I hope you all had lovely holidays. I will be back fortnightly for this term, so that I can have a little bit of family time as well. So I won't be back next week, but I will be back the week after. And I have a little giveaway this week. I thought what I might do is give away a pack of this gorgeous glimmer paper. You can see in the 3 different colours. This was a celebration item and a few people missed out on this. So If you are really keen and you want some of this, all I really want you to do is pop a comment in the comments below. So underneath this video, I want you to tell me what your favourite stamp set, flower stamp set is, or flower product is in our catalogue. So it doesn't matter if it's going to retire or any of that kind of stuff. I just want to know what everybody's favourite flowers are. And then I'll randomly draw someone to win this in a fortnight's time. Okay. Have a lovely night, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in a fortnight. Bye.